We're coming up to a difficult time with Harry Kane once again, obviously in the summer with 1 year left in his contract. Cast your mind back to 2 years ago when he did that interview with Gary Neville, and then we saw a very poor first half of the season from Harry Kane. I mean, what can we do to maybe avoid that situation again?
Yeah, that's a really difficult one. I mean, the thing that Spurs really could have done is win something and look like they were making serious progress. I mean, bear in mind, Kane's position has always been pretty clear that he wants to end his career winning the kind of trophies that he feels are commensurate with his talent and all of that. And I think that's completely fair enough. And that his dream, first and foremost, would be to do that with Spurs. Once he felt that wasn't possible, which was how he felt 2 years ago, he felt he needed to move. And what Spurs need to do to keep him is not let him get to that point again. The worry is that Spurs don't really feel much closer to winning trophies. It could be they don't even get top four. And so Harry Kane could be thinking, I'm about to turn 30. I'm going to be playing in the Europa League or Europa Conference League next season. I want out. So the best thing they can do from here on in is finish the season strongly, get in the Champions League, and, really make the case to Kane, we're bringing in manager X, who's going to be fantastic for you. We're going to sign player Y, who we think will complement you, really show that ambition, because I think if they don't do that, then he would be well within his rights to start thinking about a move again. And obviously he's got even more leverage this time. Last time around, he had 3 years left on his contract. So ultimately it was out of his hands. This time he's only got 1 year. And so that would put Spurs in a position where they're deciding, well, do we cash in now, or do we just say Harry Kane's so good that we'd rather lose him for free but get another year from him? Neither of which would be ideal options. But I do fear that, obviously that the longer that goes unresolved, and I don't think anything's going to happen imminently, there's no reason why Kane wouldn't wait until the end of the season. Bear in mind, the longer time goes on, the more leverage he has. But yeah, that, all you can say, finish season strongly with these last 10 games and be in as good a position as possible to make the case to Kane that he can achieve what he wants to achieve at Spurs.
Do you reckon there could be a slight conflict in terms of getting a manager with the gravitas to try and keep Kane compared to getting a manager who's actually the right fit for the club in terms of to bring the club forward? And there could be a slight conflict there because maybe the right manager to convince Kane that he can win trophies in the short term might not be the best manager for Tottenham in the long term.
I think that's a really interesting point, and that's something that has slightly underpinned, I think, to a certain extent, the win now appointments, because there is a logic in a way in going for a Mourinho Conte if you think that they've got a generational talent in Harry Kane, arguably 2 in Son Heung-min. Those are probably 2, if not the best 2, but certainly 2 of the best Premier League players Spurs have ever had. And so you can see the logic in saying these guys are in their late 20s, obviously Son's 30 now. We just need to max out on their talents because they're not going to be around forever. We need to just get someone who can get us over the line. And I do think that has been a consideration, and I can see the logic in it. But yeah, then again, does how much of a factor is that this summer? Because yeah, it might be the case that if Spurs do bring in someone who's not such a big name and is a builder for the future, that could be less appealing for Kane. I mean, and bear in mind, he really enjoyed working with Conte and got a lot out of him. He enjoyed working with Mourinho as well. So yeah, I think that is a really salient point, and that's going to be something that's going to be one of many factors they have to weigh up when choosing who to go for this summer. And again, it comes down to the long term versus the short term, and it's not easy.